But it's changing. I mean,
It's changing.
I don't
It's
mean
changing.
to make that sound pessimistic, because it's not.
That was my next question.
But when you start changing textbooks, it's going to be 25 years before you see the fruits of that. So what we're doing right now, what we're seeing coming out of university, is the result of textbooks that were written 25 years ago. We're starting to change that process, but it may be some more years before we actually see that. And the other thing we have to do is we have to get some new university professors. Polling, the only group in America that is further off from we the people than the media is university professors. They're more biased than the media is. It's unbelievable the number of lawsuits we're having to file against schools just to get them to allow students to express their own views in a class. It's unbelievable. Students can't express their own views in a college class. So there are now a number of legal groups that have been raised up in the nation. They do nothing but litigate on students' free speech rights in the classroom, because we no longer have that right for most kids. If you happen to be a kid that believes in traditional values or loves America, you're going to get your brains beat in a classroom. But it's changing. I mean,
It's changing.
I don't mean to make that sound pessimistic, because it's not.
That was my next question.
I've got more optimism for America than I've had in 30 years.
Really?
I see more things going right. Now, it's not things that we're going to see in the next 6 months and 12 months, but the standards we got in Texas. And I keep saying Texas, and I need to explain that the standards passed in Texas will be the standards used in all 50 states, because textbook is the largest, the textbook market for Texas is the largest. Publishers make their money back by selling their textbooks in Texas. Then after they make their money, they take that textbook to all the other 49 states. So what we do with standards in Texas will be the textbooks that are used here in Rhode Island as well.
Yeah.
And why that's significant is these are the best standards I've seen in a public school textbook since World War II. I mean, it's a really good throwback. It's a love of country. It's a knowledge of our documents. It's a knowledge of American exceptionalism, what makes us operate. But the deal is, we finished these standards about 3 weeks ago. Well, it's going to take them 3 years to write the textbook. Then the textbook get in the classroom in about 4 years. Then you're going to have to go through 12 years of school. So we're talking 16 to 18 years before all the stuff in those textbooks get into the culture. And then 10 years after that before those kids get elected to office and start doing things. So we're talking 30 years from now, but it's in the pipe coming down. And I keep up with polling nationally. We've been watching tens of thousands of polls for the last 20 years, particularly cultural polls. And right now, America's in better shape on cultural issues than it's been in 20 years. I mean, we are more traditional. We want to go more back to traditional values than we have in 20 years. Now, policy's not there yet, but the people are there yet. And so the changes I'm seeing in the people, the changes I see that'll be showing up now in the next 10, 15 years, I'm really positive, really optimistic for what I see coming in the country. The kids too. I love the kids. You know, it's really fun with the kids, because you look at the kids. I'll give you 2 examples. Nationally, 51% of the nation says that it's pro-life, and 77% of the nation wants restrictions on abortion. So only 24% of the nation wants Roe v. Wade, untouched, abortion on demand for any cause. People are saying, no, we don't want partial birth or whatever. So only 51% of the nation is pro-life.
Yeah.
You know, with our teenagers, 72% are pro-life. Now, how do teenagers get to be 20% more pro-life than their parents, their teachers, the culture? Same thing with the generation before our teenagers. We call that the millennials. They were born in the 80s. So you look at the millennials. The largest study ever done on millennials was done out of New York City by a marketing group, because they want to get the money from they want to find out how to buy the cars. And they found in polling these kids, millennials, the entire generation, 94% of those kids respect monogamy and parenthood. 88% respect the Constitution, 86% respect the military, 84% respect marriage, only 24% respect Hollywood. Now,
is that right?
You're talking about a whole generation where 88% respects the Constitution. We don't have 88% of Congress who respects the Constitution. This is good news for what's coming.
Well, what's the name of that report?
That report was, oh gracious, I forget the name of the report. I have it on my computer. We download. It's a great report, and they use it now. And if you watch the way that the ads are going for that generation, you read those, you watch those ads, you say, hey, that's just traditional value stuff. And that's what we grew up with in the 50s and the 40s, and it's back. So it's good.
Those are positive signs.
Yeah, those are really positive signs.
Any more?
Well, there's good stuff out there in a lot of ways. The growth of people who are committed to their faith is really good. The growth of people who are committed to learning about the countries. I love the fact that bestsellers now in the New York Times list are history books like John Adams and in 1776 David McCullough.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that we're willing to pay good money to learn what we should have learned in school? All the stuff McCullough did is what we used to learn in school. But we're so hungry for our own history that we're paying good money to make books #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, and it's what we're supposed to be getting in school. Hey, that's really good, that we want to know who we are as a people. We're willing to spend good money to learn something we should have already known, but that's a positive sign. I mean, the fact that we're moving in that direction. This year in this election, running for Congress, you have 435 seats. Running for the Senate, you have 100, well, only 33 seats up this year, but you have essentially 468 seats that are being decided this year. We have 2,700 candidates running for those seats. You're looking at 6 to 7 candidates per race. That's the highest we've had since we've kept records. There's more Americans wanting to get involved and make things go right, and that's a healthy sign. You know, a lot of races we couldn't find anybody to run in the races. Now we're finding 5 or 6 or 7 people wanting to get in. That's a healthy sign. We're getting re-involved in our government. So I just see lots of good stuff going out there.